Hi, my name is Kerry Martell, and I have been the independent reporter who has been bringing you stories that other media here in Yamhill County just won't do. They just won't report on it, guys. I have tried so hard to get other local media to run with the story, even conservative media. And a lot of people they're just asking some questions, but they're not really moving very quickly with it. And I think people should be moving a little bit faster than they are. You see, this is an enormous scandal, and if you haven't heard it, this is the basic part of it. Meet Megan Corvos. Okay, she is the secretary. She's a secretary, I suppose, for the Yamhill Democrats. And as you can see, right here, she's a self-declared racist. That is what the Yamhill Democrats has been taken over by. They have been taken over by racists. Shocking, right? Yet it's true. You can ask Megan Corvos. In fact, during a county commission meeting, she told Commissioner Sterrett to her face. Megan said she was a racist, and she's proud of it. That's what she said, at least that's what I gathered from the conversation that you can find on my article, part 2 of my expose about what has been happening in Yamhill County. So there's this group. They're called Progressive Yamhill. They are apparently an unregistered PAC that every other political action committee PAC of the area that's associated with the Yamhill Democrat Party is part of. Like, they got the candidate PACs are in there, ballot PACs, recall PACs. It's all in there, along with a bunch of other personal commercial stuff. You got land developers and real estate agents talking to people on affordable housing committees and land development use and everything else, talking in a way that the public just has no idea what's going on. If you do a records request, which is your right, by the way, to make a records request on seeing what their communications are about certain issues and to certain parties, it'd never come up. You know why? Because it's on secret Facebook mafia club, Progressive Yamhill. That's why. And that's the purpose, that's the intention behind creating this Facebook group. It is part of this thing called the Indivisible Movement. Very patriotic sounding title for something that's very unpatriotic. Who, as you can see from the Oregon Department of Education Vice Chair, part of their goal is to dismantle and rebuild America. Yes. So let me explain here. Critical race theory is their belief. It is their religion, if you will. Okay? They're not Christians. They're not whatever they claim to be. Their actual religion is critical race theory, because that's what it actually is. It's not a legal framework. It's not an applied science. That's all a bunch of nonsense. Okay? They have a cult belief, and their religion is critical race theory. And in critical race theory, they're all believing that racism isn't just having racial prejudice, you see. You have to have power too. You have to have power in society. And they believe that there's a spectrum of power based upon your color. So what they do is they convince a bunch of people who think that themselves are white, and because they're white, they're top of the food chain. They got all the power in the world. They need to use their whiteness, their white privilege, to benefit the causes of black and brown people. And I put that in parentheses because it's a quote. That's what they say about other people. And I think these color-coded, labels, I don't think they're scientifically accurate. I don't think we should be using it. I'm a common humanity approach person. I believe in the same things, that people like Martin Luther King Jr. believe. I believe judging a person not by the color of their skin, judge them by their qualities, about their conduct, the quality of their character, okay? That's how you're supposed to view people. You're not supposed to fixate on things like gender and sexual orientation and skin colors. You're supposed to look at the actual person. And that's not what they do. They have decided, I'm a white person. I've got all this power just because I'm a white person. So now I get to use that power and privilege to benefit other people who are beneath me. It is a racist, ridiculous ideology. And what it actually is designed to do is create a segregated society in places where segregation basically didn't frickin' exist ever, like Newburgh. And thus why they have black student unions teaching children to self-segregate themselves. I couldn't get in a student union. that must mean it was the color of my skin. So I need to create a black student union. We need to create a brown student union and all this other nonsense, which is the wrong thing to say to kids. That's not how things are supposed to be. I am not a Republican, by the way. I need to point this out. It's very important that I start prefacing it with this. I'm not a Republican. I'm actually a registered Democrat, okay? But I'm a moderate person. I consider myself to be a fairly reasonable person, okay? Racism is bad. End of story, right? That's something that I don't think should be controversial. And yet, the entire Yamhill Democratic Party, the whole chapter, has these people who are part of this secret Facebook racist mafia club in it. And that's what they're doing with the Democratic votes. All of their candidates are racists. All of them. Every single one of them. I have yet to find a Democrat-ran candidate in the past 4 years who is not associated with this fricking group in some way. They're all in it. They're all part of it. The recall of the county commissioner right now, they're part of that too. Why do they want that? Because they think if they can recall her, then they can get one of their racist people elected into that seat. Then they're going to vote with their other racist member, Casey Kula, who's part of their group already and has been for the whole time, basically. He was part of their group before he was a county commissioner. They got him elected so that he could be their puppet and dance for them and do everything that they want him to do. Now he's running for governor. But while he's still on the county commission, they want to get one of their candidates in so they can vote with Kula to basically expand the number of seats for the county so they can fill it with more of their people. That's the whole plot. That's the whole objective in the... You can read my article about it, okay? I know it's long. It takes 90-something minutes to read, but it's long because I'm showing you the evidence of their own communications, unfiltered, uncensored communications of what they're planning to do to our county. And almost certainly what they plan to do to the rest of the state of Oregon if Casey Kula ever gets into the governor's seat. You've got to read this article. You've got to pay attention. And here's the other thing I want you to think about, okay? If you're a moderate Democrat like myself, you need to wonder what the hell is going on with the Democratic Party if this is allowed. Because here's the thing. This is not some unique thing to Yamhill County. This is what the Oregon Democratic Party is doing. Some of their members are associated with Kate Brown on Kate Brown's racial equity commission, or whatever the heck it was called. Okay? You got people like Deborah Bridges, who was in the Attorney General's task force for, I believe, victims' rights. She's part of this crap. Okay? State Representative Courtney Neron, she's one of their frickin' members too. I'm angry because you should be angry. Everybody who is a regular person should be angry at a bunch of freaking racists taking over the damn Democrat Party. And just going beneath everybody's nose. Nobody saw this. You know why? Because it's a conspiracy. And I think the press, the local press who have called out, they know about it. And they're doing nothing but helping them. They're letting them feed stories to their reporters and then publishing it. And they don't report this stuff. They don't report the truth of what's actually happening. They're no longer real journalists. They're propaganda piece, is what they are. So there's enormous problems in our county and our state. And what are we going to do about it, okay? A lot of people say, just join the Republican Party. But I don't think that's a solution. Let me tell you the two main reasons why I think that's not a good solution. First thing is that I just don't think the local Republicans... I don't think they have their act together. I don't know another way to say it, okay? They don't have their frickin' act together. This happened on their watch. They're not doing anything about it, okay? And they're just not organized. And that's just the sad reality. They don't have the structure in place to oppose it. They're not trying. The other reason is that I just don't think a lot of moderate Democrats are ever going to join the Republicans. I think that the very idea of joining the Republican Party, even to fight racists, self-avowed racists, I think it just leaves too much of a bad taste in their mouth, and they'll refuse to do it because they hate the Republicans more than they love the Democrats. Fine, I can understand that. This is what I am thinking of doing. since there doesn't seem to be anybody else who's trying to get an organization together at the county level, okay? There's groups like Save Our Schools here in Newburgh, okay? Newburgh Dundee Strong. There's some groups like that, but where's the rest of the city supposed to have some organization, okay? Where's the rest of the county supposed to have some organization? Damn, where the hell is the rest of the state of Oregon supposed to have some organization? There needs to be something. Whether it's a new political party or some other political action committee, something has to be created for moderate Democrats and moderate Republicans to work together on this stuff, okay? Because it is a common threat we are facing, an existential threat to our democracy we are facing. And we've got to get these radical elements that are taking control of our government to have basically political warfare against each other. We got to get these people out of power, okay? That means moderate people, regular everyday people, have to just spend a little bit more time, you know? Think about this. Most people in this country, if you're not a recent, immigrant to the country, which is totally fine, but if you've had a couple generations of Americans here, you probably have either a father or a grandfather who was part of some type of civil service community, whether it was something, like the Freemasons or the Elks, something like that. Maybe even your grandmother was part of a chapter like that as well. They're part of something organized, and they were trying to make their communities better. How many of our generation, my generation, how many of us are involved in anything like that? Okay? How many? Go ahead, think of it yourself. Are you part of any of that stuff? Most of you are going to say, no, I'm not part of that. I go to work, I work hard, I come home, and I just want to relax and veg out, watch some Netflix, play some video games, whatever other hobby I have, and that's fine, except while we were doing that and not being involved in local communities, the most craziest people in our communities have seized the grips of power. That's what happened. And it is our fault because we were not involved. I wasn't even here. I left the area. I joined the Army at 17, and then I bounced around the country almost, my entire adult life since leaving the military. Working on my entrepreneurism, working getting in video streaming and consulting and stuff like that. I've only recently come back, looked around and said, what the heck is happening? Okay? So that's on me too. I left. I wasn't part of this stuff. Bad on you, Carrie. Well, now I'm here. Now I'm doing something. And I'm asking you to help me. Help me do something. I don't know what it's going to be. Is it going to be a new political party? Is it just going to be a PAC? I have no clue. Tell me what you think we should be doing. Tell me what you think we've got to do. Okay? Let me know. You can leave comments on my YouTube video. If you want to send private stuff, you can use the contact form on my website, carriemartel.com. Contact me there. Contact me over Facebook. Any way you want to contact me, just freaking contact me and tell me how you think we should get involved together, work together, and try to stop this thing. Because the reality is this. We have people who are self-declared racists controlling our government right now. And if that doesn't piss you off, what the hell is going to? We got to do something. Let me know what you want to do if you want to get involved. Because this is the reality, okay? This is how a republic dies. It doesn't die when the barbarians are at the gate. It dies when your neighbors start turning on the neighbors and start acting crazy, start creating visible little mafia clubs and harassing the other neighbors. And they do it because they think racism is great. We got to stop this, okay? Let's do something together. You and I. Thank you.